Welcome back to Well Said Podcast. Hi, I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a long time. And you're probably like, yes, you have. You've been talking every Monday, 5 a.m. CST. Well, I haven't recorded an episode in a few weeks. I'm trying to think of the last time I recorded. Probably with Lindsay, which came out last week, but that was a few weeks ago. And I feel like I miss you. I don't know. It's a good thing that I leave the podcast, I bank up a few episodes, and I miss the podcast. Like that's a good sign. Quick few things, my ins and outs of the week. My ins are poppies. This is not an ad, by the way. I just like them. I'm trying the root beer right now. It's decently good. I don't really like pop in general, but I like poppy, ? I don't know if that means anything. Maybe I do like pop. Totally means I like pop, probably. My out is just drinking friends, like drinking friends only. So I just hope that hits home with a few people, and it's going to hit home with the episode we're having today. And I won't say exactly what's going to go into this episode yet, because I think it's going to end up shooting all over the place. But today's episode is going to be about just being better. And what do I mean by being better? It means a lot of things. Health, stress management, what I'm doing for that. Just things that I've been feeling lately that I think we need to talk about. Today was supposed to be an episode. Originally, my idea was that I was going to talk about careers and career trajectory and where I'm going. But I think I want this to always be timely. And I know that I need to talk about just like my updates in my life and like what I'm dealing with right now, and just like health and self and all of those things. So updates, I feel, honestly, I'm going to just say this out loud because I think I need to speak it into existence. I feel really guilty right now. And I don't know if anyone can relate to this, but my work has been going amazing. I work for Lifetime. I don't usually like say it out loud, but I think I can now because my podcast and my life intertwines so much better right to this day in this moment. But I work for Lifetime. I do a lot of branding. We did a big, huge launch. I work on classes actually. And I also teach, which if you ever are in Minnesota, I teach in the mornings at a club, and you can always come take my classes. But it's going really well. Work is amazing. And I'm lucky I get to say that, because I don't think I don't think many can say that their work is always amazing. And I actually really like my job. And I'll talk about careers later on. But sometimes when something in my life takes up so much of my energy, the rest of my things deplete. I felt kind of like I haven't like dove into my relationship with Jordan for a while. We have for Valentine's Day, thank goodness. I feel like I've been neglecting the podcast. I've not been posting things on time. I've been delayed to do recordings. I'm delayed on my emails. I'm delayed on my posting. And I'm sick of feeling this way. And I sat down with Jordan. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I sat down also with someone who's been helping me a ton with like, what do I do with social? And it's like literally right in front of me, but sometimes it just feels out of grasp, out of reach. And I don't know if you can think of something in your life where you feel like you know how to do it and do it right, and yet you cannot do it. I don't know if it's overwhelmingness, if it's bad time management, if it's feeling scattered, if it's imposter syndrome, but I've been feeling a lot of that lately with the podcast, with social, because a lot of what this is that social needs to be on and social needs to be good. And I need to come up with new ideas on social. And I'm just so sick of feeling like I can't catch up. I feel like I'm behind, even when an outsider looking in would say, oh my God, your life looks awesome right now. And it is. My work's going great. I have a roof over my head. I have a new baby puppy, and my life is great. It's just like, why can I not get some of my shit under wraps? So this episode is about all things that I'm doing to get my shit under wraps. And I hope that you can take something from this and be like, yep, I'm going to go apply that to my life. And I'm going to make things just a little bit easier for myself, because I'm sick of shit being so hard for no reason. And you know who's making it hard? And you know what the freaking sad truth of it is? It's me that's making it hard. It's me that's causing all this stress in my life. It's me that's not, aligning my calendar every single week. It's me that's not saying no. So you know what's in right now? Here are the health things that are in that we should be paying attention to, that we should be doing. Less social media time. Why do we talk about doing less on social? Where we're just browsing, right? Creating and spending time on social, browsing are two different things. I want to spend more time creating. I want to spend less time browsing. More meditation. We need to meditate more. I need to be more real about stress management, more supplements. I know that sounds crazy. And I think if you listen back to an episode probably about like 2 years ago, like early on the podcast, I did not believe in supplements. I'm like, honey, I eat my spinach. I drink my smoothies. I'm getting fruit in. But trust me when I tell you, I've looked at the blood work. I've gotten the blood work done. I'll talk about that in a minute. You need supplements. And I was a firm believer you didn't. More times saying no, and that like giving yourself grace to say no. Slow mornings, zone 2 cardio, because oh my goodness, and just zone 2 workouts in general. We need to be doing that because that is way better for our body, way better for our hormones. Lifting heavy. You need to be lifting heavy. And the big one behind this one is that women are basically chemicals in our body change in our 20s even. So we drop off like what muscle we can retain just starting even in our 20s. So you got to build up muscle. You got to build up your muscle mass. It's going to help you have a better metabolism. It's going to help a million quadrillion things, but that's just scratching the surface. Grocery lists with goals, right? So like making a grocery list with the intention of making a meal versus making a grocery list with things that you might piece together to make a meal. And then you end up spending like $200 and wasting shit because you didn't make anything out of it. Because you just thought, okay, well, I'm out of tomato paste, but you didn't really actually need tomato paste. You know what I'm saying? Me time, magnesium, bedtime alarms, and drinking less. Those are what is in for health for me. Okay. Like those are things that we should be leaning into. And I'm going to talk all about it today. A lot of this came down to, I actually got a blood work exam done and I was reviewing it with 2 experts. I had 2 people look at it and there was basically a chemical that's being released, obviously my cortisol levels, but a chemical that's being released in my body that is showing like, okay, you've got a unhealthy amount of stress and you're not managing it well. And I said, okay, how do I improve that? Like in my mind, I'm like, okay, maybe it's a supplement. That's it. That's all I need to do. And they were like, you need to be on supplements, but you need to stress manage much better. So I'm going to tell you how I stress manage, and I hope that you can take something from that. Okay. So here's one thing that I had my girlfriends over today, and we were talking about saying no and saying no a lot more. Honestly, being honest and saying no feels so good. Like the more you do it, it's kind of like one of those repetition things. Like the more you say no, the more it will be easier, I should say. And the more honesty feels good instead of you feel guilty for maybe not doing something, like not being able to go to something or not wanting to spend your Sunday running around or saying, I'm sorry, I can't make it to your get together, your dinner. It's just not in the cards right now. And not feeling like you have to give this long explained situation of why. Just saying no is okay. You could actually be selfish and not feel bad about it. And learning not to people please is really where I'm at right now. I think a lot of where my frustration is coming from in my life is that, feeling scattered and feeling like I'm not on top of my shit is that I'm not stress managing well. And that's on me. Like I have the cards and the tools in my pocket and here's what I'm doing so that I don't have to just sit there in the uncomfortable for much longer. So I'm saying a no a lot more. And honestly, there are people that will take it well and there are people that won't take it well. And I just have to trust in what I need in my life right now. And honestly, every friend I have in my life is amazing right now. And they all understand when I say no, I'm not saying no out of I don't want to be there. I'm saying no out of I can't do that. And I'm not going to feel good if I go, or I'm not going to feel good if I'm around you and I'm not feeling well. So saying no is a huge thing. With stress management, there are supplements that I definitely need to take. And that this is more of like, I have looked at my blood work. I understand my blood work. So I got it done at Miura, if you were wondering, at Lifetime Target Center, if you're in Minnesota. But I am going to start taking ashwagandha. I take magnesium, and then I actually take a Lifetime supplement called Relax. This is not an ad. I don't get paid for any of this. It's going to help me calm my nervous system. And Relax, I think you take it right before bed. I'm going to take it tonight because it just got here today. But it's a supplement. It has magnesium, it has some elderflower and a few other things in it that actually like calm my nervous system down before I go to bed. It's not that I can't fall asleep. It's that my mind races before going to sleep. So it basically leads me into, I need to make sleep more of a priority. If you're listening right now and sleep is not on your number 1, number 2, or number 3 of your health priorities, you need to freaking refigure it out. I can be doing the best workouts of my life. I can be eating the cleanest I've ever, ate. I can be spending the most time outside in the sunshine and happy with my life and happy with my family. But if my sleep is bad, all of that health goes to shit. It doesn't matter. All of that does not matter. You need to get your sleep right. And I feel like an idiot because Jordan, my fiance, has been saying this for forever. And then, my mom, my sister, myself, even to myself. And then it comes out on your blood work and it's like your stress management is poor. And I asked my nutritionist, dietitian at work, like, what do you think I need to do? And she's like, how's your sleep? That was the first thing she said. And that's why I have this little Oura ring on my finger, because I need to start paying attention to it and I need to take it seriously. When I don't sleep, oh my God, I feel like shit. And when I sleep, I feel great. But yet somehow, some way, somewhere in that week, I think spending more time at night on my work emails or let's see. So what's something else that kind of stresses me out before bed? Doing laundry really late, like random tasks that I'm like, I need to get this done. Otherwise it's on my to-do list in my brain. Makes more sense than waking up feeling refreshed and maybe having a little more time to do it in the morning. Like, it's like, that doesn't make any sense. So sleep is something I'm really leaning into and I need to pay attention to it, and you really should too. I want to normalize my mornings, or just mornings in general, being slow. And I think there's a misconception with anybody that works in fitness that we're up, we're freaking running, we're going, we're in the morning, we're boom, 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 we're zone 4 in it right when we wake up. And honestly, with all of the stress management that I've been taking so much more seriously, because it's actually like affecting my body and I'm seeing it on paper with my blood, I decided that not every morning needs to be a fast morning. Listen, I did the 9 to 5 thing where I worked downtown and I got up in the mornings and I went to my HIIT class and I showered there and I brought my bag and I brought my lunch and I brought my breakfast and I was over in the, I get ready there and I'm in the office. And props to you if that makes you feel good, especially moms, if you've got kids at home and you can get out the door in the morning. That is absolutely a great way to do it if you can manage your sleep well. I need to slow down before I speed up again. And I'm normalizing what my mornings look like, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but just having a slower morning, not waking up at the crack of dawn just because, and getting out the door, even though I know I should have slept probably an hour or two more, and just like being slow, having my coffee, sitting in the living room, doing like my journaling or my whatever task I have in that morning, and just being okay with the fact that, yeah, I'm going to dip into my evening time after work, but that's when I'm going to have a more productive workout. And I need the sleep a little bit more than I need the movement this morning. So just food for thought on that one. In my blood work, this is really, really interesting. My vitamin D and my iron were super, super low. But what was so scary is the woman at work who's going to come on the podcast was like, dude, your vitamin D is so low that you need to triple your vitamin D supplement. Like now. Like you need to fix it now, because that's causing other hormones to go out of whack. What was really cool, and I mean, maybe not cool because mine are low, but cool to see is like things are intertwined in your body. Like just by taking supplements can balance things out, and then it'll balance this other hormone out because it needs that hormone to do something. So that was really freaking interesting. But she's like, you need to triple it and triple it now. And then you can gradually start pulling back. And I said, okay, how does someone get vitamin D outside of just like having supplements? And she's like, well, you need to have, I forget what she said, like 63 cups of milk in order to get the same amount of vitamin D as like one capsule or something crazy like that. I'm pretty sure it was milk. I don't know why I keep going back to milk in my head. But then I was asking her, I'm like, okay, does everybody in Minnesota need to be on a supplement then? Like anybody who's living in like a cold winter state? And she's like, yes, you need to be on a vitamin D supplement. And I just didn't know these things. I think I was naive thinking that supplements were overkill. Like I get enough of everything. Like I'm generally speaking healthy. And I would still say that's true, but why would I not optimize my health to be like, I could perform at my best. I can be my best. I can feel my best and give my body everything that it needs. And if your body is everything it needs now, it will continue to stay steady and you can age well just by giving your body what it needs. So really interesting. I'm actually also doing iron. Okay. So like iron heavy. So think meat. I'm doing like steak and ground beef meals 3 to 5 times a week, but I have to have a vitamin C with it. So you could take your vitamin C with your steak or your beef or whatever it is that your red meat of choice is. And then, so yeah, vitamin C with it. Or you could do like a leafy green. You could do, she said broccoli, citrusy fruit, or strawberries, literally eating it with my meal, like my dinner. And she's like, it will help you absorb the iron better. So I'm going to start doing that and see if that boosts my iron up, because my iron is super low. And transparently with you guys, my periods are kind of bad. And you guys know, I think I talked about this a while ago. I went off my birth control, hence the Oura ring. That's why I track everything on here. But I went off my birth control and everything else feels great. My moods feel great when I get my sleep. But she said, it's likely if your periods are heavy that you're actually losing a lot of blood during that cycle. And I'm like, okay, well, they are heavy. And she's like, okay, so there's something else that's off balance, probably stress related and also iron related, that I got to get figured out. It's just crazy. The body will literally tell you what's going wrong. But I think with growing up and not knowing all these things about the body, you make assumptions of like how to fix it and like fix it in the quick and fast and easy way. So I'm trying to not cut corners on all of that and do it 100% the right way and figure out my stress, because I feel a ton better even just knowing that I'm paying attention to all these things. I want to talk about Sundays and what Sundays mean for me now, because this is just a podcast about being better. It's a podcast about getting out of your scattered life and getting a little bit more serious about growing up and being, I don't want to say well-rounded, because that's not a good way to put it. It's not really what I'm saying, but it's just about maybe making a few better choices. And I'm not here to tell you have to do any of these things. I'm just here to tell you what I'm doing and why it's working. So Sundays to me either mean yoga or sauna and cold tub. And I do not hang out with anybody in the evenings on Sundays. Like, unless it's like I'm going to like a basketball game or something like that, where it's like a one-off situation. I have decided that my mornings start with yoga or they start with sauna and cold. And I feel freaking fantastic when I do these things. The rest of the day is slow. I might have some plans. I might do some errands. I've been saying iron too much. But the rest of the day is just chill. And why I've made like such a difference in like this, pattern of my life is I no longer feel like when I go into my Mondays, I'm a scrambling, like stressed mess, because I used to do a lot on Sundays. It's where I jam-packed most of my activities, like to get shit done, right? Like on Saturdays, we chill. On Sundays, you get productive, you get ready for the week. I don't want that pressure anymore. I don't want to feel like Sunday is cram city going right into my Monday. Like, no, we all know Mondays, they kind of suck. It's just how it goes. I know that my emails are going to be piled up. I know I'm going to have a lot of tasks and a lot of reporting to do. So why would I put pressure on my Sundays? So that is like bottom line for me. I also, and this is, I feel like I'm like, oh my God, Jordan has been telling me to do this since I started dating him, like literally on one of our first dates. You need to set up your calendar for the week on one day of the week. I don't care what day of the week you decide, but for me, it's Sundays because I can do it when I'm at my calmest. I just did my yoga. I probably had an espresso at home, and I set up my week, not at the night, not at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. I'm talking like during the day at some point. And what do I mean by setting up your week? Like making a workout schedule so that it's planned out during your day, and then literally blocking off your work schedule. For me, some of my workouts might trickle into the workday around 8:30 or maybe 8:45, or maybe I need that 15-minute buffer to drive to work. That is planned in my day. That is when I put that on my calendar and I block it off, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You don't miss meetings just cause, right? Why would you miss your workouts? Then I know, okay, Monday, I don't want to go too hard on a Monday because I'm not going to put that much strain and pressure on my body. I'm going to do an upper body day. Tuesday is going to be lower body. This is my current split, by the way. I'm literally being literal. Wednesday, I teach in the mornings at 6 and 7 in the morning. So I know that I don't sleep very well that night usually because I get a little worked up and stressed. I'm working on that. But I don't usually want that. I don't have energy / I don't want to go back to work at the end of the day and go back to my gym. So I usually do a class right after my class. So I go 6 a.m. teach, 7 a.m. teach, 8 a.m. I take a class with my friend Shannon, who I work with. She teaches MB360. I love it. It's mind, muscle, mobility, strength. It's fabulous. And it's in infrared heat. So I do that on Wednesdays. Thursdays would be another upper body day usually, or maybe it's another leg day. Friday is upper body. Those are kind of interchangeable. Saturday is either a leg day or it's a fun, like choose whatever you want. It's kind of like Thursday, Friday, Saturday are interchangeable. But the goal for me is to plan at least 2 upper body days. One of those upper body days is cardio too. 2 lower body days, no ifs, ands, or buts. One is squat focused. One is RDL or deadlift focused. And then I have like a whatever I want day. That's usually, so now we're at 5, right? So like maybe a class, maybe it's my friend Sid's spin class, maybe it's my sister's rumble class, boxing, and then 1 yoga day. And that can be whatever day. So like it's my active recovery / mindful movement, right? So that's what I'm doing. That's what I mean by making your calendar. If I need to go grab groceries or I need to make social posts, like truly, like literally down to the wire of those things, I plan them on my schedule, because you know what happens when I don't? And you can probably think of whatever it is that you put off on your schedule right now, but it festers in my brain and it drives me bananas. I'm thinking about it Monday. I'm thinking about it Tuesday. I'm stressing about it Wednesday, when I could have just spent 30 minutes doing the damn thing on Tuesday and getting it done. That's why I plan my schedule out for the week. And that's why I sit down and do it. All of this episode is stemming from is my new goal. And Josie, who was an intern of Straight Candid and somebody who I really, really enjoy spending time with, and she's been helping me with just kind of like get back on my feet on having confidence in my social. Ultimately, I was like talking to her about like, what is this podcast? And you've heard me say it a handful of times. It's relationship with self and it's relationship with health. That is what the topics are. That can be advice, that can be careers, that can be general health related, it can be specialists, it can be anything that's going to make you have a better relationship with self and relationship with health. But I said, okay, how do I like package that up and put it on social? And she's like, you're going to have a new segment and you're going to put it on social. And every Sunday you're going to reflect on what you did that past week and what's in for self and health. And I did it today. And I finally like pushed through on something that I've been talking about for months on like just getting it out there and doing it and like seeing my vision come to life. And I'm going to do it every Sunday, and that's going to be my goal. And I'm not going to make excuses anymore. And I'm just really freaking excited about it, because I actually am doing what I said I was going to do. And that feels so damn good. And believe it or not, that in itself helps stress management a ton. Just doing it. Like crippling anxiety can come on to a lot of things. For some reason, social and like texting for me, like gives me like a severe anxiety. I can't explain why. It's got to be from something. I'm not really quite sure, but to actually do it and follow through with it is a huge deal. And I'm really excited. So if you haven't seen it yet, I would go to my social and check it out. Few last things for my Sunday plan. I make those segments, by the way, on Sundays, and it's the recap for the week. Last thing I'll say about my Sundays is I have a grocery list, and I actually have 2, and I share them with Jordan on my phone. And this is something that you might want to do with your partner. One of the grocery lists is an actual list. I break it out by breakfast, and then there's like a lunch and dinner one, and then there's a like household stuff, whatever, towards the bottom. I think I do have a snack section now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I do. It goes snacks, breakfast, lunch, dinner, because they're together, and then house. So how this works is if it's pressed, I need it. I do those little circles. The second note is ideas for meals. Okay. The worst thing, I think, that you can do when you're hungry is try to figure out what you want to eat. So instead of doing that, and instead of just buying groceries at random, I pick what I'm going to have that week, what sounds good when I'm hungry or sitting down. I sit down with Jordan. I'm like, how does this sound for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? He's like, yep, approved. I want this as well. And then that is how I decide what I press on my grocery list. So I'm no longer, if I need, let's say, white rice, but I don't need it for another week because I'm not going to have it that week, I don't press it. I don't need it. It's not on there. It removes the pressure of like meals and wondering what you're going to have. And then for dinner, I just make a little duplicated extra. And guess what? That's what I'm eating for lunch the next day. I do not meal prep. I totally think it's a great idea if you can do that. On Sundays especially, but I'm just somebody who I can't eat the same meal over and over again throughout the week, and I don't like leftovers. I can do it for about a day. So I just make a duplicate meal, have it for the next day. You know what I mean? Like just like make the meal bigger. If I do sweet potatoes, I make like 3 instead of 2. And now I've got lunch for the next day. So all of that being said, that's kind of like new Sundays, right? Like, so yoga or sauna and cold tub, setting my calendar up for the week. That includes making my workouts into my work schedule, grocery list planning with my fiance. And then I do my health and wealth segment. And I honestly, health and self. Wow, I keep saying wealth. It makes me feel freaking good. And honestly, I feel better today than I have in a really, really, really long time. Like really long time. Giving myself space to be okay with not feeling okay, but now like getting basically off my butt and stopping the excuses and leaning into like new things that I know I need to apply to my life. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about when I plan my week, and like how I talked about like early mornings. Not every morning is an early morning. I want to talk about my step-by-step mornings and like what that looks like, because I think it gives people a better idea of how could I set up my morning to be productive. How do other people spend their mornings? I think we all, if I could think about how I assume every single person I see on Instagram spends their morning, they get up at 4 a.m. in the morning. They have their lunch packed and their meal packed. They've got a cute ass workout outfit ready, laid out. They're ironed, perfect white socks. They've never been worn, perfect shoes. They're at the gym by like 5 a.m. Maybe they ran to outside even though it's winter. Like just like think about what you think about other people. You think they're being the best. You think they're thriving every single morning, and maybe they are, but I'm sick and tired of putting pressure on myself. So this is my non-pressure morning routine. I usually get up around anywhere from 6 to 7:30 on the weekdays. Same with the weekends though. That's where it doesn't change. I don't really sleep in. Our room is really bright. I'm getting eye masks, so maybe that'll change. But also my circadian rhythm is now kind of finding its home because I've prioritized sleep. So we usually go to bed. I'm in bed by 8:30 or 9 by that time. Like that's the latest. And then I'm up by probably, ideally most morning is like 6:30 is like an ideal time. But I have time, and I also have slept enough where I don't feel like, oh my God, 6:30, are you kidding me? But it's a range. I just need to tighten it just a little bit more so that my circadian rhythm can be on. Usually I get up, I have water with electrolytes right away. I like my Relight, or I like my Lifetime electrolytes. I'm going to start to try to do 3:30 in my garage just because it's winter. And when I go to the gym, I like to just lift. I don't like the like pressure of having like a full 30 minutes of cardio on top of my lift somewhere mixed in there. So Courtney, my friend, and I, who I work out with, we were like, maybe we should just start like doing cardio in the mornings, because she's got a gym at her apartment. I've got a treadmill in my garage. I'm like, maybe we just start waking up and doing 30 minutes of that on the tread, just getting our bodies moving. So I'm going to try it this week and I'll report back. But then usually, so I've got my water and my electrolytes. I wash my face or I rinse off immediately. This will be the same for when I do the 3:30. Then I make my coffee. Oh, espresso. Oh my God. My Nespresso machine is like the best thing I've ever done. Financially, for financial health, that shit was smart. Okay. I've got my coffee, and then I peek at my phone. This is when I can peek at my phone. I try not to do anything like surfing the internet, surfing social before any of this. But then again, I'm trying to be better. So this is my morning routine, right? I'm getting it right. I'm doing it with you. Then, I get dressed. I put my makeup on. I pack any bags just in case if I'm going to go lift after work. I've got my like gym bag packed. I'm getting it all ready to go. And then usually I go downstairs once I have everything from upstairs. So out of my bedroom, I'm leaving my bedroom. I've made my bed. I'm going downstairs and I make breakfast. If Jordan's there, I'll make him breakfast too. And I prep my lunch at the same time. So I just make sure I grab my cute little lunchbox I just got, and I put everything in there, my snacks, and maybe I want a protein shake between snack or lunch and breakfast. So I throw that in there, and then I eat my breakfast, and then I usually just go out the door. That's it. And I grab my stuff and off I go to my 9 to 5. It looks the exact same if I'm coming to this desk in my room, because in my studio, I have a desk. And if I'm working from here, that is the exact same. I have to get off my ass. I have to get dressed, and I got to do my makeup in order to get my day going. Side note, if you get a cute lunchbox, I got a Cal Pack, it's called. It is adorable. It's brown and it's got like a little cinch at the top. This is so dumb, makes packing your lunch so much more fun. I know it's just like getting these nice little things that you're going to be using every day. It is worth investing in them. Jordan always says if you're using it every single day, you can invest in it. Like if it's something you're using all the time, absolutely give yourself grace and go buy the freaking lunchbox, right? Nighttime, here's a few things that I've changed to improve my stress management and just like my overall like mental well-being before bedtime. I do Calm, that like Calm powder or magnesium every single night, like about an hour before I go to bed. I am popping my magnesium pills, or I've got my Calm little sleepy time drink, or I do my tea. And if I do my tea, I still have magnesium, okay? Makes the world of the difference for my REM sleep, okay? My restlessness and my REM sleep have skyrocketed, and I've never seen that much REM. I'm not very good about getting into REM. We also have a puppy, so it's like harder to get there. But I'm telling you, it has made all the difference. And then I feel so much better because that's where you really rest. I also have an unwind alarm. This is so funny, at 8:30. And so I took this from one of my friends who said, don't like take it so strict and serious. But she said, I have an alarm around 8:30. I know it's about an hour before I want to be like asleep. I can't do anything like crazy productive in between that time besides like get in my pajamas, wash my face, settle into bed, maybe read a little bit. But once it hits 8:30, it is no longer time to prioritize the tasks for the next day. It is time to lay down, put your feet up, chill, and get ready for bed. If you just go, hustle, like hurry to get your bedtime, like wash your face, get in your pajamas, get into bed, tuck into your covers, you are going to feel stressed because I have done that for years. Okay, I'm living proof that that's how it works. And if you don't have that problem, props to you. I don't know how you do it, but this has helped me astronomically. It's been like 2 weeks since I've started doing this, and I feel insane. Like I actually feel like I have given myself permission because of the alarm, which sounds so crazy, to unwind an hour before bed. And it feels so relieving. I no longer allow for small tasks to get done during that time. It's like I don't have time to do that. I just have time to relax. And it is refreshing to say the least. And then no more bedtime scrolling. I'm done with this. I mean, obviously we fall victim to this, I think, on the weekends on TikTok, especially like in bed or Instagram, but I don't gain anything from it. Like what I always reflect on is, do you remember the nights that you cuddled up to your significant other, or maybe it's your pet or whatever it is? Or do you remember the nights that you scrolled, and then you went to bed? And then how did you feel in the morning after that screen time right before you went to sleep? Like truly asking yourself, like, how do I feel and what do I want to remember and use my time for? So just food for thought, things to think about. A few other things that are improving my stress and just my overall well-being and like things that I'm prioritizing for health is I'm setting up my social calendar for the week for like actually posting. And I don't think everybody can relate to this as much, so I'll just keep it very, very brief. But like one of the biggest things that's changed my stress is my calendar. And why can't my social media calendar also have that same impact on my stress? If social is so stressful to me and posting is so stressful, I need to, instead of casting such a wide net and just giving it like, I'll get to it when I get to it, I literally made a calendar for myself. I'm only going to have 3 types of posts on my personal page, 3 types of posts on my podcast page. I'm going to do at least 3 collabs a week, because if you post one a day, now you just knocked off 3 days that I only have to make one thing or post one thing. And everything is broken out by when I can work on things. Like if I need to record, maybe it's like a get ready with me. I'm going to do one day of coaching. I'm going to block that on my calendar. Like I'm going to literally block it so I do it. If I just tell myself and I'm really aloof and I'm like, I'll do it. Yeah, tomorrow I'll like record, or tomorrow I'll make that reel that I keep saying I'm going to make. It doesn't get done. So I'm going to make a set schedule and make sure that I get to it. That can be applied to anything that is stressing you out, anything that you need to get done, tasks, emails, stuff that stresses you out. Even just like to-do lists that grow way too long over time and you get none of it done. Have a 30-minute to-do list, like action item section of your week. Like maybe it's on Mondays. You want 30 minutes after work to just do the shit that's on your to-do list so you can cross it off. Calendar management has been huge. And I just also don't feel rushed all the time. And that was ruining my mental health. Like truly, I felt like I was running from here to there, to there, to this, to that. I never said no, right? Like I talked about earlier in this episode, I was never saying no. And I was running. I would run from working out to work. I'd be sweaty. When you get sweaty and you work out and you sit in it, you obviously like get acne. Like I was feeling like my forehead was going insane. And I was making excuses for why I wasn't eating why I was still eating dairy, why I wasn't cutting it out. It was messy. Running around and being busy does not equate to being productive. Like you are not productive if you are rushed all the time. And I'm no longer tolerating that in this year, in this life, in my 26s to 27 years. I'm not going to tolerate being rushed. I'm going to make good habits now, do things right now, so that when I grow and I get more responsibilities on my plate, I feel good about who I am, what I prioritize, and my stress management. Because stress can literally make you age 20 times faster. Like, haven't you ever heard of I've heard people talk about it. It freaks me out when I go to the doctor, honestly, because I used to have such bad anxiety. It's still bad, but it's not horrible. It's manageable now, especially with these things on my plate that I'm doing better of. But they're like, stress can cause cardiac problems. It can cause aging. It can cause hormone spikes, which causes other like situations, diseases, all those things. So I'm like, I need to take this freaking seriously. And also, I don't have children. Why am I so stressed? Like, I don't have nearly the responsibility on my plate that I'm going to in 5-10 years. So I should probably figure it out now. Another thing that I want to talk about is drinking less. And I put this on my story. I just posted a little story when I was on my way to the gym on Saturday morning, I think it was, about just drinking less and how good it feels to wake up not hungover and that you're not boring. You are growing. Drinking less and being sober or being partially sober or just like ditching your excuse for having a hangover does not make you boring. It means that you are growing. 250 plus people liked the story / responded on my Well Said account and then my podcast account. And I was just like, oh my God, I had no idea so many people were feeling the same as me. I still drink, don't get me wrong. Like I still have like a glass of wine here and there, or like some nights, yes, I have a few cocktails with my friends because I love a little bit of like a tipsy dinner from time to time. But hangovers on Sundays and Saturday mornings are no longer my jam. And it's not something that I'm going to make excuses for anymore for myself. And granted, again, they will happen time to time. Like you have a birthday and you go a little hard. Who cares? Like that's totally allowed. But I was starting to feel like I didn't have a choice for a while there. If I wanted to see my friends, then that would mean that I had to go out. And I don't feel like that at all right now. But I'm just saying, if you're feeling that way right now, like the only way to stay relevant and stay with your friends and stay like in the know would be to go out with them. And you didn't feel like going out. And you didn't feel like drinking real vodka or tequila at the bar and Ubering and spending like $300. No, that's an exaggeration. Probably like $200 or less. And getting home super late and eating something really, really late and sleeping zero because your REM sleep gets messed up when you're drunk. All of that being said, if you feel like you're having to drink to stay close to people, you are not surrounding yourself with the right people. If you feel like your friends think that you're boring because you don't want to drink anymore or you want to drink less and you want to stay in some nights, you are not boring. You are not boring. I wish I could go back and tell myself that. I wish I could like talk to my younger self and be like, you're not boring, my friend. You are just growing and you don't like to feel sick. And that is okay. So think about that as you're thinking about your stress management and your overall health. Maybe that's something that you want to cut back on. And if you don't want to cut back on it yet, more power to you. I do not care. You go do you. I had a phase of like going out and partying all the time and it was a blast. So I'm not judging. I'm not saying anything that you need to do, but I just feel like all of these things that I wrote down needed to be talked about. They're all the things that are helping me right now with my mental health. They're all the things that I'm trying to be better at and trying to like pay attention to. And like I said, I'm no longer making excuses for being scattered. I'm no longer making excuses for saying yes to everything and not having enough time for myself. I'm no longer making excuses for not managing my time well in general. And I'm not going to be stressed like I have been for a very long time. I'm done doing that. And I hope that some of these things helped you, because I felt like this was like me pouring into this episode what has made me feel better. And you know what? A poppy a day keeps me feeling good, okay? So if you need a poppy a day, you go sip on your poppy a day. Okay, I've got a few call Syd advices before we get the heck out of here, but I want to start with this shorter one. This one says, "Hi Syd, I need your advice. Me and my partner have been together, and a month before our 1 year, he proposed and we did not live together yet. I said yes, and then we got an apartment together. It has been hard ever since we moved in together because we kept bickering, and I hate the fact that now I'm thinking I may have made a mistake saying yes too early. Help." This one is tough. I'm trying to figure out how to answer to this because I don't have obviously more context, but here's what I immediately go to. You said yes for a reason, right? Like you said yes, you felt all those emotions. You didn't feel pressured. I think you would have called it out if you would have felt that way here when you were proposed to. And maybe you felt like 1 year was enough. I think we can't like give timelines to when things should or shouldn't happen, when things are early, when things aren't. Personally, I started living with Jordan under a year in, and I knew he was the one, and we said, "I love you." And could I, prior to being in this relationship, said like, "Oh, that was so fast"? Yes. But like, did it feel fast? No, because it just felt right. So that's thing number one. Thing number two would be when you get engaged, when you have these life changes, when you move in together, those are two major steps in your life that you've taken with this person. Like things change. They just ultimately get more serious, right? Like you're taking the step with okay, we're intending to be together forever, moving into with each other. You're living under the same roof as somebody, someone who you had separation from, someone when you were able to prioritize time with and time alone. That is a change, a huge change. So little things are going to bug you. They're going to leave their dirty socks on the floor. They're going to leave the sink running too long. They're going to maybe not put their dishes away right away and on your timeline because you're different. But what you need to think about is, am I actually really bothered, or am I bothered that this person is different from me? Those are two different things. If you're actually bothered and you're not feeling good about the relationship, you need to sit down and have a serious conversation about how you're feeling and communicate no matter what. On the other hand, if it's little things that you're bickering about because you're just trying to adjust to living together and being around each other 24/7, you still need to sit down and have a conversation, but you need to sit down with it lightly and just say, "Hey, I don't really do things that way. Like I appreciate like if this is done this way, and I want to know if you'd be willing to do that or make that change. Because I just like my space like X, Y, or Z." That is a completely different conversation than throwing it in their face in the moment. Like, "Okay, I just did the dishes. Why are you putting the dirty dishes in the sink?" Right? Like it's a totally different dynamic right there. I would not panic that you made a mistake. I would say you need to give it a little bit of time, but you need to be communicating. And I would say remove the pressure of this isn't always, I don't have a choice. Because when you remember, we're humans, we want what we can't have. When we feel pressured, we usually want to retract. So just remove the pressure, take a deep breath, have a conversation. And I would say make more rash decisions once you've calmed down and you've communicated. And I think that what you'll find is you said yes, you're in love, and you're going to feel damn good in this relationship, but you need to just take a second, communicate, have a little bit of grace with yourself that you made some big steps forward in your relationship, and that it's feeling kind of real and intense, and that's okay. It will subside and you will be completely fine, my friend. That is my opinion from what I know on the situation. Okay, call Syd advice number 2. It says, "Hi Syd, first off, I love the podcast. I've been listening since almost the beginning. I have this situation with this guy I met. We're going to call him Colin for now. We met through friends after graduating college, and now we run in the same friend group. Now, keep in mind, I hang out with this friend group almost every weekend or every other weekend, so pretty frequently in my opinion. Now that I set the table, here's the deal. He had a girlfriend of 6 years, high school sweethearts, dated through college, then broke up after moving in together. He was in the friend group when he was still with her, so I met her and she was super sweet, and I honestly felt sad when I heard they broke up. Now it has been a year since his breakup, and she is not in the picture as far as anybody knows. Since his breakup, I had been in a relationship and a situationship that ended, and I had my healing girl era after all of that. I am in my single girl era, but I have a crush on Colin, and this has developed, and the crush has been lingering since September. I heard through the help of my friends that he isn't wanting anything serious, which I'm not either, but I would be open to a serious relationship if it felt right. I asked my best friends about the situation, and they think he is too quiet and shy for me because I'm outgoing and love to talk to people. Basically, I am you, Sid. I can relate to that. But I think that would be a good balance for me. He has been opening up to me more, and every time I see him, I make him smile and laugh, which is typically my goal when I see him. I guess I don't know whether I should make a move or let him know how I'm feeling, that I'm interested in more. How should I make the first move? How do I even know he's interested in me? Ugh, I don't know what to do. Is it too soon after his long-term relationship? P.S. All of our friends are going to Mexico in the summer, and guess what? He will be there. So do I wait after Mexico so I don't make things awkward? Eep, help. Sorry, that was a novel. I wanted to read this one because this was sent in literally just like a day ago. And I want to give her advice right now because this is a tough situation when you're in a friend group and you're interested in somebody in the friend group. That gets a little bit sticky. Listen, okay, a year passes after a relationship. I think that person is very much continuing their healing journey, but probably pretty healed and open to, seeing if anything will develop with somebody. But I will say you probably had eyes on him kind of more closer to when the breakup happened, whereas he was probably healing for that time period because 6 years is a long, long time. So you got to give him some grace and some space to do that. I think inquiring with friends was a really good idea to figure out, okay, what is he interested in? What is he thinking about? I don't personally think that you have a lot to lose. I don't want you to get in a position where the friend group is awkward, but I also don't think you're going to jump and latch onto him. So what I would do is I would just continue having conversations with him when you're out, kind of showing him that you're going there to give him attention versus other people, and seeing how his body language shifts, how his behavior shifts when you're out, when you're hanging out with a group setting. This spending more time talking to him and spending your time at the bar with him. I think he will get the hint, but you have to see if he bites for that, right? If he was interested, would he generally speaking maybe have asked you to go do something outside of the friend group? Maybe. But he's still healing and maybe he's shy, like you're saying. So I would say it's not a bad idea. I would make the first move at the bar. I would talk to him and just genuinely give him your body language, sitting next to him, sitting, looking at him, your body language is open to having that conversation and being really confident. You'll know if they're interested because they will give you the signs. They'll either maybe it's a hand on the leg, maybe it's asking you to hang out outside of the friend group after a few times. Maybe it's just that you're hanging out late and he really enjoys talking to you and he walks you home, or just something a little bit more than the general larger friend group hanging out. I don't think it's too soon after his long-term relationship, honestly. A year is a good amount of time, but in all fairness, he just did communicate that he doesn't want anything serious. So I would be mindful of that you can't bank on him wanting more or that you change his mind. It just may that he wants something casual right now. So don't go into it assuming that you're going to be able to date him right away. Don't go into it assuming that you'll be the person that changes his mind, because that has to be on his own time, his own decision. So I hope that helps. I had a lot of fun reading these call SIDs. Remember, if you ever want advice, 612-470-7569. You can call me. You can text in. I prefer call. If you are international, there's a link in my bio. It will go right to me. No one else sees it. Don't you worry. And you can ask me for advice. Both of these situations, I want nothing for the best of these people. So thank you for taking the time to write in. Good luck with this situation with the boy. I think it'll go well. And my friend who is proposed to, take a deep breath and communicate. I think you're going to feel a ton better. I hope you liked this episode. It's late. I need to go have a snack. I'm so hungry. I need to eat my late dinner. But I really appreciate you all. And I appreciate you all being there, even though I see you as in numbers, right? I'm oh my God, who's listening? When people write in and they send me a message on Instagram, I see it. I literally see you. I thank you. It really has kept me going. And I don't know why I felt so in my head lately and put these fake pressures and things around my work, but I'm feeling a lot better and I'm excited for applying all these things to my life because I know it's going to help. So I hope you took something away from this episode. I hope you do better with your stress management because I'm going to. That's what I'm going to be working on. And I will talk to you next week. Bye.